What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another Chef's Garage video, which feels really good to say again considering I haven't uploaded a video in almost 2 weeks, and I wanted to first of all apologize for that. I went on school break and then I went on vacation, and then I just didn't feel like uploading anything because I needed a break, but I'm back from vacation and we're back with another MK8 GTI video. Today we're going to be talking about the most common questions that I get asked about my MK8 GTI, and I'm going to answer those because I get a ton of comments asking about my MK8 GTI, stuff about my car, and today I'm going to answer the 5 most popular questions I get asked, just so if any of you guys do ask the same questions, there's a video about it. Now, if there are any other questions in this video that I don't answer, comment them down below. Maybe I'll make this a series on my channel. So without further ado, let's get started. But first, if you're new to the channel and this is the first time seeing my face on your screen, consider subscribing down below for more awesome MK8 GTI content or other car content. I'm trying to become a full-time YouTuber, and I cannot do without your guys' support. You guys have been smashing the support lately, and I can't thank you guys enough. Let's start off with one of the most popular questions about this car that I get in my comment sections is, how do I afford this? And I'm going to go over this question as quickly as possible so you guys understand about this car and me. I made a video about, I would say maybe 1.5 to 2 years ago, talking about how I afford this car, and looking back at that video, I didn't explain it very well, and a lot of you guys didn't really get the concept, and I apologize for that. It was a very badly worded video, but I'm just gonna quickly explain it now and then we'll move on. Good? I'm gonna be as completely open and honest about this as possible. Half of this car was paid by my parents and half of it was paid by me. I would actually say more than half is paid by me, considering most of the modifications done on this car were paid for by me. I'm extremely grateful that my parents support my passions in cars and everything that has to do with cars, and I'm extremely grateful for that. And I recognize that, you know, most people's parents can't even buy them a car, and most kids have to work themselves to be able to afford a car, right? This car was paid for half by me, half by parents, and what I did to afford the other half of this car is, well, I worked. I had a bar mitzvah, so if you're Jewish, you sort of know what that is, and you know the gifts entitled to that. I worked. I currently work at a Audi dealership, so but I've also done other summer jobs in the past. I've had some startups that worked, like sneaker reselling, as well as like a mobile detailing business. Some didn't work as well, but the sneaker reselling kind of launched off for me. Other than that, that's basically it. That's how I afford this. It's mainly all thanks to my parents, because without them, you know, this wouldn't be a reality. But I am extremely grateful for my parents supporting me in my hobby of cars, and they wanted to do this for me, so I really appreciate it, and that's how I'm able to afford this. I'm just being as honest as possible, and I really don't think there's anything wrong with that either. You know, I think, you know, people's parents supporting their passions, whether if it's cars or sports or whatever, is a good thing. And I honestly think in today's society, most people's parents do this, so I don't think it's like really anything new, but I recognize that there are some people that just can't. So yeah. Moving on from that question to the second question is, why did I get a DSG and not a manual? This was another hot topic in my comment sections, and today I'm going to tell you. Fortunately, unfortunately, I do have a DSG, and there are some advantages and some disadvantages to this DSG, and I felt like I should talk about this because it is a hot topic in my comment sections, and I honestly don't think there's a bad answer to this car, whether you get it with a manual or a DSG. Both are great choices. Me personally, if I had a choice, I would still choose a DSG. Actually, the manual is a ton of fun. I have driven one before. However, when it came to commuting to high school in this car, and still school in this car currently now, you know, there's something nice when it comes to traffic that the DSG just works better for my lifestyle. The manual is still a fun car, definitely on the weekends. When I drive on some fun roads, I wish I had a manual, but the DSG in this car is actually so good, and I do love the upshifts where they kind of do the DSG fart, if you will. It's a fun transmission. However, there are some flaws with it that I kind of make me wish I went with a manual. First of all, this transmission takes forever to warm up. So when the engine is warm, sometimes the transmission is not warm, which provides a more sluggish shifting experience. If you had the DSG, you are pretty much prone to the gear selector issue, which they have to do something. Volkswagen has to do something in the shifter linkage to fix, so I was prone to that, but thankfully it's now fixed, but that's just something I was prone to. Other than that, sometimes when you're just driving it, it gets kind of boring, and I kind of wish I did have a manual, but overall, I sometimes regret, but sometimes don't at the exact same time. That's basically why. I really didn't have a choice because I got this car really early in the market production. I got it in November of 21 or December of 21, so it was really early in the market GTI production here in the USA, and most of them came in DSG, unfortunately. Alright, moving on to the third most popular question that I get in my comment section is, why did I buy a Mark 8 and not a Mark 7.5 or Mark 7? Now, the Mark 7.5 specifically is kind of the bread and butter when it comes to the GTI. To enthusiasts, or true enthusiasts, they say that is the best GTI of all time, the most timeless one, and I kind of have to agree. When it comes to the Mark 8 GTI and Golf R of this generation, there's so much technology, especially with the new 8.5 coming out. There's so much technology. The Mark 7.5 kind of blended the modern tech and old styling all in one, and when it was a really great package. Now, when it came time to buy this car, I was looking at Mark 7.5 GTIs and Golf Rs and Mark 8s because I really wanted a GTI or a Golf R. I kind of established that from the beginning. I've always wanted a GTI and Golf R. Ever seeing, you know, Jeremy Clarkson on Top Gear, who knows, around the racetrack and saying they're the best hot hatches ever made, and I thought, you know what, that's a great first car, so I'm gonna go for it. It was a great car that provided, you know, sporty driving, good practicality, as well as more of an understated sports car in a way, and that's sort of what I really like about these cars. Additionally, they had an amazing aftermarket, so that's sort of why I went with a GTI or a Golf R. When it came time to buy my first car, the used car market was a complete mess, and there was hardly anything available that I wanted. I looked at 7.5 Golf Rs, I looked at 7.5 GTIs, and the 7.5 GTI I went to go and look at was a base model, and I just didn't really want a base model. Nothing wrong with the base model, it just didn't have, you know, the nice big screen and the sound system and the performance pack with the limited slip front diff and stuff like that. When my local dealership got the Mark 8s in, I was sort of automatically hooked. I did like this car. The design of it grew on me, and especially since I was going to keep this car forever. I told myself, whatever first car I get, I'm going to keep it forever and never sell it. It made me want a brand new car rather than a used car, because a new car, I'm the first owner, I don't have to worry about any of its past history. I can just full on enjoy it, and I already know the stuff that's happened to this car in its past, you know, 3 years of ownership. So I kind of already know all about that already, and that's sort of why I wanted a new car, because if I got a new car, it's the most up-to-date at the time, and it will in a way last longer because it's, you know, the newest car. So, and since I'm going to keep it forever, you know, I wanted a new car. And I don't regret my decision whatsoever. I completely love my Mark 8 GTI. It's honestly such a great car, and I still am true to my word. I am never selling this car. The only thing I wish is that it had all-wheel drive, and if I got a Golf R, but Golf Rs at the time were going from $10,000 to $20,000 over sticker, and, you know, there was no way I could afford that at all. So, yeah. Moving on to the fourth question that I get asked a ton about, and that is with my modifications, starting with my spoiler. I get a ton of questions about my wing, and I don't really know why, to be honest. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a great product, but I'm shocked with how many people are interested in this thing, because it seems like most people didn't know that this actually exists. Now, there are multiple versions of this sort of type of wing, but this wing is the Mark 8 Golf R spoiler that comes on the Mark 8 Golf R. It is an OEM Volkswagen part, and it cost me around $1,100. It was a lot of money, but it is so worth it. Actually, because if you can see here, instead of it going down, it kind of extends the roof line out, and I just overall love the look of the spoiler, especially with the way it looks on the back of the car. Looks so good. Love this spoiler. It is quite expensive, but it is so worth it. And when I got my car wrapped, I actually wrapped the top of it because I actually like the whole black piece going across rather than this part being black. A lot of people ask me, why did I do that? Well, you know, the Golf R had just this up painted. Well, I actually like the entire thing black. I think it looks better. You can get other versions of this where it's just like an adhesive stick-on, but me personally, if you're ever gonna go and buy car mods, I think you should go out and get the best thing of that product possible. For example, get the highest quality suspension, get the highest quality wheels, tires, spoiler, etc. And that's why I went with this, because I knew if I went anything cheaper, I wouldn't be happy with it. You can get this on a variety of sites. However, I got mine on BMP Tuning. I'll link it down below if any of you guys are interested. It's a great product, high quality. It's an OEM Volkswagen part, which is awesome. Or you can go and get the painted version on ShopDAP, which I'll also link in the description, which is a little bit more expensive, but it comes the painted color of your car, and that comes from Europe, which is on the Club Sport GTI. And the final question I get asked a ton is, am I going to tune my Mark 8 GTI? And the short answer is yes, I am, just not right now. When it comes to fun and power and torque, this amount of power for me is perfectly fine. I really have never complained about it here on the road and the roads around me. However, since I do track my car in the summer, when I take it up there in, you know, Western Mass to go and track it, I do definitely notice the shortage of power that this car has, and that's sort of when I do wish that I have my car tuned. That's like, I would say, 10% of the year when I go and track this car, and because of that, I haven't really had a need to tune it because 90% of the time I'm driving it on actual streets. It definitely would be nice to have all that extra power. However, the thing that's holding me back is the cost. It is a lot of money for a good tune on these cars. Because I have a DSG, I would like to get the transmission tune, and preferably I would like to upgrade the intercooler, because that sort of is what's recommended for Stage 1 Plus, which is sort of what I would be doing, Stage 1 Plus. As of right now, I just don't really want to spend the money. I have already spent a ton of money on this car already, plus after, you know, the gift of my parents getting it wrapped, and I just spent a good amount of money of it getting lowered and new tires on it there. I really just kind of want to hold it back for a while and just enjoy what I have. As I'm gonna keep this car forever, I can always tune it, and definitely maybe in the next 5 years or 2, 3, 4, 5 years, I will tune this car. Just as of right now, I just don't really want to tune it, and that's just the honest answer. Additionally, as well, is I am saving up a good amount of money starting now, obviously, for the next thing, the next vehicle that I'm gonna own, and that does also take time. So recognizing that as well, you know, I also want to, you know, sort of keep this as a good daily driver, fun daily driver. But, you know, maybe my mind will change at some point. I will tune it, but I really enjoy what I have right now, and you know, I'm very grateful for that. So those are the 5 questions that I have gotten asked a ton on this car, and I hope that those answers help those questions. And if you have any more questions on my car, please feel free, comment them down below, and I will answer the most asked ones in the next video. Maybe as I said, maybe I'll make this a series if there are a lot of questions that you guys want answered about my Mark 8 GTI. Anything from ownership to modifications, you name it, comment it down below, and I'll get back to you ASAP in the next video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Comment, like, and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.